So we're going back to normal. I hope, and I've said that I'd like us to get back to normal by summer, as the Chief Minister said. But in order to get us back to normal, we need to work out how safe it is to do things in a particular order. So at some point we're going to have larger events. So this event is a trial, it's an experiment, it's a pilot, where we want to see if we can get significant numbers of people together in a venue. This venue is open air and it's large, so it's probably the safest way we could gather people together. What I'm trying to do is make sure it's even safer, because I want us to go down a road, you know, we're at the edge of a fun park, we're wanting to go through the gate, this is the gate, and so we can have the fun of the rest of the year. We deserve it, we've worked really, really hard, and therefore I want to make sure there's a safe way that we can have large events. So what I've said and what we're exploring at the moment is how can we do it, and do it in a way that we're not suddenly going to have a huge influx of cases, because all that will do is will stop us having future cultural events or future sporting events. I want us to watch football matches, I want us to go to concerts, but we've got to do it in a safe way. So this particular match is an experiment, and in that experiment I'm saying the safest way to do it and be assured of success is to have people who are immune coming through the turnstiles.
You've mentioned immunity, but for those who may not have been able to get vaccinated in time, will you also be considering alternatives such as, for example, a recent negative COVID-19 test, perhaps in the previous 24 hours?
So I'm still working out the details of this, but my sense is that we would offer people a test on the day, also in addition to the immunity. I want to be doubly sure that we've got a protected event. I don't know if this is the case, but my sense is this will be a world's first sports event where everybody is immune. Our football team will be immune and the spectators will be immune. I think the world will be looking very carefully at how we manage it and how carefully and what the consequences are of this. So I think I want to have a double-barreled approach to this, not just immunity, but a test on the day to prove that you haven't. And we're still working out the details of that at the moment. I don't know how practical it is at the moment, because you can imagine this is a very early assertion, and I've just had a conversation with the GFA about the practicalities, and there's an awful lot of practicalities, not least of which UEFA need to be involved, because I'm sure they would be very interested in how we carry out this event. And they also currently have their own guidance that you can't have more than 30%, for example. So that will also constrain numbers. But with any experiment, we're learning, and we're going to have a lot of disappointed people who want to watch a Holland match. But even if we had a full stadium, we would have had a lot of disappointed people. But this is enough time for people to get vaccinated, so I've encouraged through the tweet for people to get registered with the GHA. We've just had receipt of more vaccines, and I think we'll do our best to get people vaccinated with their 2 doses before the match starts. But please think this is a trial, it's an experiment, and not everyone will get in at the first door, but we will have many other opportunities if this is successful.
You say the aim is to offer the vaccine to everybody in time, but Gibraltar's only recently started to vaccinate the sizable 16 to 50-year-old demographic. So isn't it extremely unlikely that all of these people will have had the chance to have the second dose and have full protection by the 30th of March? And couldn't this be deemed discriminatory?
Well, we're going to have to start and dip our toe in the water at some point. And it seemed the appropriate one was the end of March, when we had a major event where there was going to be a lot of interest. I've no doubt, and I'm saying this quite openly, you know, I don't always shy away from difficult messages, but I want our young people to be vaccinated. My children are going to be vaccinated as soon as their turn comes, because I believe it's a good thing to be protected, and I want us to go back to a more normal existence. The sooner it is for Gibraltar, the more our economy will bounce back, the more likely we are to have jobs, and we won't suffer the consequences, as I'm sure we will see worldwide, of some of the consequences of COVID, the economic harm. So yes, it won't be possible for everybody to be vaccinated, but this is a trial, and there will be other events. And those events, if this is successful, will be more frequent and more often. so that everyone can enjoy themselves. We deserve a reward for the hard work we've put in so far.
Will people be required to have had both doses of the vaccine in order to be considered sufficiently immune?
And at the moment, that's the intention, because I want there to be a fully vaccinated crowd, fully immune as best as we can manage it, and with an on-the-day test to indicate that you're not actually carrying the virus as well. And those people will be allowed entry. But as I say, the logistics of it are difficult to work out practically. Who's going to do the swabbing? There will possibly be an additional cost to the test itself, but it won't be the private test costs. It will be much lower than that. But until we do this, we will never know if it's safe to hold an event in Gib. So we need to dip our toe in the water at some stage.
This could be deemed something of a local trial of a vaccine passport, but concerns have been raised over these, for example, whether they're discriminatory to those who can't take the vaccine for medical reasons or who choose not to. Are these concerns being taken into account?
So this is a trial, and in a trial we have to start somewhere. I hope over time that as more and more people are vaccinated, that we protect those individuals who can't get the vaccine. I know there will be plenty of people disappointed they can't see this match, but let's not confuse that with the requirement for vaccination, because that's a roadmap and a route into normality. That's our big events that people in Gibraltar celebrate and love. A lot of these events, that's part and parcel of what makes Gibraltar great. And part of that is that some people who aren't vaccinated, who can't be vaccinated, will also need protection. And the best way to do that is to have high vaccine uptake. There's no coercion in this environment. But remember, in a real world, we have airline companies and insurance companies that are talking about the vaccine passports. They are talking about raising insurance premiums for travel. So in the real world, we're going to have to face that choice at some stage. So let's not turn what's happening in a football match into something much bigger than it is. This is a route into normality, and that's all it is. I would like to say that it is probably the first event in the world, as far as I'm aware, where everybody, spectators and the players, I cannot speak for the Holland team, but everyone else will be vaccinated, and I think the eyes of the world will be watching.
What other COVID measures will be taken at the match? You've said, for example, that you'd like to see testing as well, and have said that the stadium will not be full capacity.
Well, again, it depends on UEFA. Remember, this is run under the aegis of UEFA, and that means that we will have to follow some of the guidelines. I'm happy to support if UEFA officials want to come. I'm happy to support and have a dialogue with them. I've already just spoken to the GFA to pass that message on. There will be some attempt at social distancing. We're still working out the details of it. So I want it to be safe, I want it to be COVID safe, and I want this to be the route into a more normal future with lots of events and lots of sport. We've got a concertinaed football season that we have to experience all the way through April. Wouldn't it be nice to get some spectators in to those events? We have a very nice summer programme of cultural events. Wouldn't it be nice to get some of them back? This is our road into...
With regards to other sporting events, Gibraltar also has a much publicised heavyweight boxing match coming up just 3 days before the football match. GBC had understood that this would be closed to the public. Is this based on public health advice, and if so, is that decision being reviewed?
So the boxing match is being carried out in a slightly different set of contexts. This is effectively a plane is going to fly here with a lot of people. The venue we're going to have, which is still not decided, will be not as big as it should be, so there will be a limited crowd capacity. So I'm going to introduce what I consider to be safe protocols to make this possible. And remember that the people that are coming for this particular match will possibly be coming from all over the world. So it's really important this gets carried out safely. And our record until November was that we'd had no deaths, and we were very, very careful. And that's what I want to continue to carry out. And it's the good people of Gibraltar that's managed to achieve that.
More widely, at what stage is the vaccination programme in Gibraltar at the moment? What ages are being called for their first and second doses? And by when does the government and GHA expect to have been able to offer everyone the vaccine?
Yeah, so I believe we've started to call 40 to 50-year-olds. There are lots of people who, for various reasons, haven't taken up the first offer who are now coming forward. So amongst that group there are also 60, 70, 80-year-olds still who are coming forward, and obviously because some people who were essential workers, say in health and social care, and teachers, there's a lot of them that were a lot younger than that demographic too.